that bad, huh? You guys have lost so much money over the past few months, had to get the guy from overseas to save you. No biggie, I get it. Although it is the Brit Nicholas Waley who, if he wins the most money during football season, I will never let you live it down. And don't worry, it's not Premier League bets or Champions League bets coming your way. No, sir. It'll be me playing you at your own game. College football and basketball coming your way. But before we get to that, let's take a look at how Adam Gotkin did last week, our favorite from down in Washington, D.C. Yet again in the red, but there were a couple good bets here. I like that $15 bet, that win plus 150 over Arkansas for Mississippi State, but you really thought that Maryland would get the job done. They couldn't against number 2 Indiana, the latest victim to Curt Cignetti and company. What's crazy is that was the second best result of the year. Jish Sokolsky still leading the way. $31 profit, pretty impressive. But Adam Gotkin, despite being in the red, is second. But Jake Klein, my man, negative $76 the other week. That is crazy. We really need to get things back to winning ways. Let's beat the bookie.
Hey, Jerry, you better yell! Show me the money! Show me the money!
Well, it's an exciting Saturday of college football, headlined by the top 10 showdown between number 7 BYU and number 8 Texas Tech. The Big 12 has been aching for two teams like this. The winner will likely go to the conference championship game. And while Texas Tech does have a loss to Arizona State, I see the Red Raiders getting the job done, but not by much. BYU will cover the 10.5 spread. This game will be a classic, under the lights, and possibly go to overtime. The same could be said for number 3 Texas A&M and number 22 Missouri. The undefeated Aggies have a right to feel their flawless record is at risk. Everything we've seen from Missouri this year tells you this should be a cover and maybe even an upset. The Tigers are excellent in the trenches and run the ball very well and are coming off a bye. The problem is we don't know how true freshman quarterback Matt Zollers will perform after Bo Pribula's injury against Vanderbilt. Despite that, I still think the Tigers will make it close. Zollers showed a lot of promise when inserted against Vandy, and the Aggies have been vulnerable on defense. A&M will stay unbeaten, but Mizzou keeps it close. $10 on the Tigers covering the 7.5 spread. I've gone 2 for 2 on the dogs so far, but I can't do the same in the Big Ten for number 9 Oregon on the road at number 20 Iowa. Once again, the Hawkeyes are a physical monster, but here's the thing. Dan Lanning's squad doesn't have a single win this year over a team inside the top 40, let alone in the rankings. The Ducks have a point to prove, and if they want to make the CFP, this is a must win in dominant fashion too. Ducks to cover 6.5. Those are my picks. Let's see what the lads think in the C-suite. And man, come on. I thought my picks were great. We both have great minds. We all have great minds here on Beat the Bookie, but you guys don't want to track with me? You guys faded me completely? Unbelievable. Can't believe it. Also, Griffin, Bloomstein, how did you get that picture? That is not public information anywhere. Unbelievable. Well, I'm pretty confident in my picks, but I still have a few more to give you. Everything from here on out will be $10, except for the first one. I want to circle back to the game in Iowa City because it's been a strange year for the Hawkeyes in the sense that they're scoring points. That's not normal for Iowa football. They're averaging over 31 points per game in 2025. But head coach Kirk Ferentz has been there for over 25 years, and you can't teach an old dog new tricks, especially against that Ducks defense. Under 17.5 total points against Oregon. Let's stick in the Big Ten because we've seen some weird stuff happen when Ohio State travels to Purdue in the past. Just in 2018, we saw an undefeated Buckeyes stroll into West Lafayette and lose 49-20. Obviously, I'm not that crazy to think that this pathetic Boilermakers team can beat the reigning champs, but have we seen them at their best yet? Is it because Ryan Day is keeping his team in second gear? Whatever the case, 29.5 points is a lot in a conference game. I think the Boilermakers can score twice and just about get the cover for what will be another win for the Ohio State. Let's switch over to the fallen giants of the ACC. Man, this game between Clemson and Florida State just a few years ago would have been one of the headliners for the whole campaign. Now it means almost nothing. Both teams out of contention for the ACC championship, and if anything, this is a battle for a bowl game and job security. Dabo Swinney and Mike Norvell's positions as head coach are hanging in the balance. Both teams still have the talent, and the quarterback matchup is at least exciting on paper. It'll be close, but the odds in favor of Florida State is tipping me one way, $10 on the Seminoles to beat the Tigers. Another game that at the beginning of the year seemed like a nailed-on classic, but it won't be. Now with Brian Kelly out of the picture for LSU, this will be a beatdown of historic proportions by number 4 Alabama. How the bookies think the spread will only be 10.5 is beyond me. So the Tide will roll all over the Tigers and cover 2. $10 on that. Let's switch over for a second to a different sport, because I'm sure, just like you, I am thrilled that college basketball is back. Of course, the early season doesn't provide us many great games, but the main storylines around Michigan State and Arkansas are fascinating, to say the least. 2 Hall of Fame coaches in Tom Izzo and John Calipari with a combined 1,616 wins and 14 Final Fours between them. Man, the talent, well, I think the Razorbacks are fit to make another run this year. The freshman duo of Darius Acuff Jr. and Malik Thomas had 53 points in their season opener beatdown of Southern, but put 10 on Arkansas to beat Michigan State on the road. Back to college football, I'm going to double down on the boys from Tuscaloosa for my future pick. After what was a shocking start to the year against Florida State, Kalen DeBoer has proved to all the haters that he is the man for the job. In a season of so many coaches getting the boot, the Crimson Tide stood strong, and it'll pay off with a national championship in January. Is this SEC bias? It could be, but I'll take Alabama over any of the top 3 in the country right now. Breaking down Georgia's home win streak was a historic blowout over Vanderbilt and Tennessee as well. That was all impressive. All games that could have turned Alabama off course, but they didn't. The Tide will keep on course until the very end. Let's catch up on what everyone else has done on their future bets. Of course, still a lot to be determined, but there are a few in there that basically could be put up as losses already. I mean, Luke Burgess saying that Carson Beck was going to win the Heisman. That might be the worst pick of the century, in my opinion. Jish, I think that you were just a week early on the Jets. Not a bad pick by any stretch of the imagination. Nico Horning thought the Giants would make the wild card. Please, there's no way that NL West bummy team would ever beat the Dodgers. Time for the fun part. Let's set up a cheeky little parlay for this weekend. Sticking on the college football theme to start, number 10 Notre Dame is playing host to Navy, and it's certainly a battle of 2 styles. Navy has one of the best offenses in the country, but also one of the worst defenses too. Currently 7-1. Could they cause the Fighting Irish a few problems? I think so. Plus 26.5 is crazy as well. They will definitely cover the spread. Let's go over and look at Penn State and Indiana. 14.5 does seem a little low to me in terms of the spread, and it makes me a bit nervous. However, this Penn State team still has plenty of talent to give the Hoosiers a bit of a headache. The incredible year will continue for Curt Cignetti, but in Happy Valley, let's give the Nittany Lions something to fight about. They'll cover as well. I need to show some love to my Bruins though. They've arguably become America's team since they upset Penn State. However, UCLA is favored against Nebraska at the Rose Bowl. It might be the biggest lock of the weekend. Give it to me though. Lastly, I couldn't be on Beat the Bookie without throwing in a little bit of a soccer bet. The MLS Cup playoffs are in full swing. Inter Miami and Lionel Messi have to beat Nashville to progress to the next round. Heavy favorites here, minus 210, but why question the greatest of all time? Bet 15 to win 130. Let's quickly recap my picks. First, the 3 games of the week, $10 each. We got BYU to cover the spread against Texas Tech. We got Missouri to cover the spread against A&M, both of the underdogs there, and then as well, the only favorite that I'm going with for those top 3 games, Oregon to cover against Iowa. Then as well, we're sticking with the Hawkeyes here. Iowa will go under in terms of team total points, and you know what? Give some love to the Boilermakers. They're going to cover the crazy big plus 29.5 spread. Also, some love to the Seminoles, plus 102 on the road against Clemson in Death Valley. And then Alabama, how this is only minus 10.5 is beyond me. They're going to absolutely crush LSU in Tuscaloosa. For college basketball, I think Arkansas will get the job done on the road at Michigan State. I don't think Tom Izzo just has the mustard that he used to. My future pick, Alabama to win the CFP. Give me the Tide any day of the week. And my 4-leg parlay, plus 862. I like those odds a lot. Navy to cover the spread against Notre Dame. Penn State to cover against Indiana. UCLA, the Bruins, to get the job done against Nebraska, and into Miami to beat Nashville to move on to the next round of the MLS Cup. Let's make some money, people. This weekend, Citrus TV needs the cash flow. It's only fair to get some foreign money to help you out. Big thank you to our associate producer, Griffin Bloomstein, and our executive producer, Adam Hipsky. I'm Nicholas Waley. Best of luck, everyone. Go make some cash.